So 2019, we've got a new catalogue from ITC. What's new, Paul?
Yeah, we've got the new catalogue release for the new year, both on our tooling and our tapping and threading ranges. There's a couple of products really just want to highlight with the advances with inside these catalogues. We discussed previously the 5021 range, which is a 5-flute, unequally spaced anti-harmonic tool, which has been very, very successful for us. And this range has now been expanded out into these two other ranges using the same flute geometry, the same coatings, etc., but dimensionally different.
Okay.
So aimed more at sort of the long reach applications, a shorter flute and a neck portion to give greater rigidity, where people wanted the overall reach of the tool. And where people didn't want that length of tool, we now do similar to a standard DIN length tool. So it's more, it's shorter, more rigid, and can be applied.
And you're not paying for carbide you don't need?
Correct, yeah, it is more competitive. Some people like the longer tool. It's always an advantage to some people. It's always a disadvantage to others. So we've really responded to what people have been telling us, using a very successful flute geometry and the coating, as I said, but then just offering it in ranges which are more applicable to what people's requirements are.
Yeah, so that must be brilliant for driven tools and the lathe.
Yeah, the smaller ranges, typically you tend to get the people that say, yeah, I love the tool, but it's way too long either for the machine, such as a driven tool application, or basically you can't, in their particular tool holders, they can't push that amount of carbide back into the tool holders. So now it gives them the opportunity to use the flute geometry, but in a shorter version. And the stubbier version, obviously, more stable, can be driven just that little bit harder. It's a high performance tool anyway. And then once again, using the length where people say, yeah, I like the length, but I don't necessarily need all the flute because I just want to get the reach. We've responded to that as well. So dimensionally, it's the same overall length, but a shorter flute, keeping it rigid with a neck portion to give you the same amount of reach.
Sure. So we've seen this product a lot.
Yep.
You sell a lot of these, but for the people who haven't, just talk us through that geometry and why it is so successful.
So a long time ago, we developed a 4-flute anti-harmonic geometry end mill. And I think a lot of other people in the marketplace have got the similar product. We then advanced that product out into a 5-flute and a 6-flute geometry version. The geometry from the 5 and the 6 flute is slightly different to the geometry on our 4 flutes, and it was soon found that it actually worked better. Even with 5 flutes, you can still slot with it, you can profile mill with it because you've got the rigidity with the extra core strength of the tool. Some people do go to the 6 flute to do chicoidal methods with it, but you can actually use the 5 flute and use a greater step over in the chicoidal method, so giving greater stock removal anyway.
Sure.
So this tool sits between the two ranges and is becoming very, very popular because it will actually do your slot milling, your profile milling, your chicoidal milling. So people only need to stock one tool and they can apply it as per the application.
A good all-rounder.
Yeah. Secondly, to these sort of ranges, the other advance that we've made, last year we invested heavily in micro machines, micro grinding machines, and so a lot of the ranges that were popular in our catalogue before, we're now producing down to 1mm diameter.
I'll have to take your word for that. They're there somewhere.
So typically, most of the dedicated ranges like these were only produced down to 6mm or even in some cases down to 3mm diameter. But now we've got true dedicated geometries in the 4-flute anti-harmonic end mills and the 3-flute high shear aluminium geometries, which go all the way down to 1mm diameter.
Incredible, because a lot of manufacturers do have 1 mils, but you've just got a 1mm end mill. It's not specific for a geometry for material.
So in our catalogue, we've got a micro section, so a section in the catalogue which is devoted just to the smaller diameters. So we actually go down to 0.2mm diameter, but that is a standard geometry tool. It can be coated, and there is a section in there of coated tools in that sort of diameters. But now going down to 1mm with a dedicated flute geometry for the material that you're trying to machine. And it does make a great deal of difference, especially on the sort of aluminiums where the actual flute, if you actually get down and have a look at it, due to the quality of the micro grinding machines, the surface finish on these tools is superb. And so the aluminium tends not to stick with it. You get a bit of high performance.
Fascinating. So where do we get a catalogue?
Visit our website, make contact with us. we'll gladly post one out or even send one of our representatives to see you, talk you through applications, etc.
The download?
It is downloadable from PDF. On our website you can even access the other brands that we do, so the big Kaiser products and the Wedia products. All the catalogues are available in electronic versions for you.
There we are, another new year, another new catalogue from ITC.